today's video, I've given you the opportunity to submit your Clash in Paris 2025 predictions. Whether it's who you think is gonna win, a new champion, a big return, a big swerve, anything, I wanna hear it all. So if you wanna be part of this video for WrestlePalooza in September, make sure that you're following me on X because I ask for your predictions usually about a week before the given premium live event. And of course, I am gonna do my own predictions video in a few days as well, so don't worry. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know that you're gonna fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, that's enough. Let's see what you guys sent in. Stephanie Vaquer unfortunately misses Clash in Paris. I don't see how in a week and a half they can build an interesting story or match for her to still have her world title match, unless maybe they do a battle royal or something to give her an opponent for the championship. Here's the thing, the championship is vacant, so by default, whoever wins this championship is very likely going to do it in a way where there is no storyline attached to it. It's probably going to be in a battle royal. It's probably going to be in a gauntlet match, in a tournament, whatever it might be. The storyline will begin after the champion is awarded. So because of that, I actually think it's entirely plausible that they can find an opponent in just a week and a half for Stephanie Vaquer, because right now we don't need a storyline, we need a champion. I just really don't want Stephanie Vaquer to miss Clash in Paris because I think this is going to be the hottest crowd that WWE has in the entirety of the 2020s, and I don't want Stephanie to miss out on this crowd because I'm confident that if she's able to wrestle in front of this crazy crowd, that they're going to elevate her and make her feel like a star to help raise her stock even more after Clash in Paris. There are other options as well, by the way. At the end of the day, all she did was win a #1 contendership for a world title. I guess you could plausibly put her up against Tiffany Stratton in a match with no buildup and no story and no feud. It's not ideal, but then again, all of Tiffany Stratton's matches after WrestleMania 41 have been with no story, no hype, no feud. But come on, you know Stephanie versus Tiffany would be freaking amazing. Ideally, it's a #1 contender versus #1 contender going after the vacant title. That's what I personally would prefer. But more than anything, I just really hope that they do not keep Stephanie off of the Clash in Paris card. AJ Styles misses Clash in Paris because Triple H has no idea what he's doing. Same old 5-match PLEs. As of the making of this video, there's 4 confirmed matches. I think that there is going to be at least 6, maybe even 7 on this card if they end up adding Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, if they end up finding a world title match for the women, and then maybe we add AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. Evolution proved that they can absolutely do a 7-match card. I do think that they can pull it off, and there are enough matches and feuds to warrant having a 7-match card here. I really think that it would be the biggest miss layup that WWE can have. You know, WWE loves their viral moments, and this will be the most easy viral moment to achieve by just bringing out AJ Styles in front of that Paris crowd. They'll go absolutely bananas over him. I really don't think that he's going to miss Clash in Paris, but him missing the last episode of Monday Night Raw and instead having WWE focus on the feud between Dominic and Hijo del Vikingo does have me a little bit nervous that they are going to miss out on AJ Styles, and I think genuinely that would be criminal, not just to AJ Styles, but to the fans as well. Stephanie Vaquer will win her world title match and be cemented as the top star on Raw. Hey, listen, I'm a big Stephanie Vaquer fan. If you're going to tell me that you're going to put the world title on her and push her to the moon, you're never going to have any ounce of pushback from me. I will say I would prefer for her to win the championship in a storyline, in a feud where she's scratching and clawing to climb to the mountain, as opposed to winning a vacant championship. But hey, at the end of the day, there are certain situations where beggars can't be choosers. I think it would be nice to have a new champion, a new face on Monday Night Raw at the top of the mountain, as opposed to the usual Rhea Ripley, Io Sky that we tend to just sort of regurgitate through on a month-by-month basis. That was one of the nice things about having Naomi as a champion. It was a new face near the top of the mountain on Monday Night Raw that we could build new storylines and new feuds around, and I think that you could do that with Stephanie Vaquer here. LA Knight and Punk managed to take up Bronson, Jey Uso and Seth in the ring. Jey hits a spear, a splash, goes for the cover. Austin Theory is the 4th member. I think that there were a lot of submissions about X, Y, or Z is going to be the 4th member, and I saw a lot of Austin Theory being thrown out there. Funny enough, if you remember when we were all originally trying to fantasy book who the next member of Seth Rollins' faction was going to be, many people had Austin Theory near the top of the list, and then they ended up going with Bronson Reed, and then Austin Theory got injured, and then everybody kind of threw out the idea of Austin Theory. But hey, at this point nowadays, I don't know what injury is real, what injuries will work. Maybe maybe they were just trying to remove Austin Theory from television to bring him back in a huge way, and this would be undeniably enormous. Would I love this? Yeah, I guess so, but it would feel kind of abrupt considering they never really were able to pay off the storyline with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. But hey, last time that they were in France, they did do a debut of a new member of the big heel faction. That was when Tongaloa debuted and almost ruined it. So maybe it'll become just tradition, where in every show in France, there's a new member of a heel stable that gets revealed. Io Sky gets a world championship chance, but will get screwed by the Kabuki Warriors and potentially starting a feud with Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea. I guess this is kind of realistic. It is there. Io Sky would absolutely make a tremendous amount of sense to be the #1 contender to go up against Stephanie Vaquer. However, if you have the Kabuki Warriors go out there and cost Io Sky the match, then all of a sudden it kind of damages Stephanie Vaquer's stock and it doesn't make her championship victory feel like truly earned, and it still prevents us from getting a true definitive winner between Io and Stephan. So I don't love this, although I agree that somewhere down the line we are going to get to Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea at some point. Chris Jericho returns in the Fatal 4-Way match and starts a storyline with Rollins. The only reason I'm including this, because I think that this is an impossibility, is because Chris Jericho has been in conversation as somebody that might be potentially returning back to the WWE. He's been liking posts on social media about his imminent return to the WWE. So maybe in a crazy world, but almost certainly not. I'm pretty confident that he's still pretty ironclad in the AEW contract world. So I don't think that we're going to be expecting Chris Jericho anytime soon. That's not to say I think it's possible that we see Chris Jericho here within the next 12 months. They were talking about my boy Ilja being cleared. What if he cost AJ Styles the title at Clash in Paris? A feud with in-ring workers like them could do a Carmelo and Andrade best of 7 instead of doing for the title. I mean, I'm down for that. I think that Ilja Dragunov coming back during this European tour has to be a foregone conclusion. That is the best place to bring back Ilja Dragunov. Will it be in Paris? Will it be in England, in Ireland? There are different options in different places where you can bring back Ilja, but I sincerely hope that it's here within the next couple of weeks. Maybe he's the 4th member. Ever consider maybe that as a possibility, since we're all talking about a new member to Seth Rollins' faction potentially debuting here? Maybe. But there are a lot of rumors circulating that Ilja is good to go and that his first program is going to be against AJ Styles, and maybe this is how we get there. I thought that it would be a lot simpler for AJ to just win the Intercontinental Championship, feud with Ilja for the Intercontinental Championship, while Dominic can go off and feud against Hijo del Vikingo for the Mega title. But when it comes to Ilja Dragunov, I'm fully expecting him to make his return here within the next week and a half while WWE is in Europe. Sheamus versus Rusev will end in them having respect with each other and becoming an alliance. So I actually think it's still entirely way too early for this. When this does happen, if it does, I want it to be after like 5, 6, 7 different matches where they just completely murder each other. I guess technically they've already had a handful of matches, but I want to see more from these guys. I want to see these guys continue to hate each other even after the dust settles after Clash in Paris. By the way, not enough people are talking about this match. I think that this match is absolutely going to steal the show. Street Fight rules, I know they called it the old Donnybrook match or whatever. All I need is no disqualification, which is exactly what this match is. This match has the potential to maybe steal the show here. But no, I don't think that they're going to be becoming best bros after this match anytime soon. Dude, this just is never worth it. That is insane. It's shaking. The camera is shaking.
Again, trying to one-up it.
Oh! Holy Jeff Hardy, Batman. BME. Oh! That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at the SummerSlam 2000 tables, ladders, and chairs match. It's a crazy one. The match with the legendary crowd that was Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in Backlash France. A recent classic between Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans at NXT Stand and Deliver. The street fight between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton at NXT No Mercy. And a Texas versus death match over an AEW collision between Hangman Adam Page and Christopher Daniels. You'll be getting all of this, plus the Raw review, SmackDown reviews, and every single series that we do that has footage that we can never post here because it would just get blocked due to copyright. So go check it out, link in the description or link in the pinned comment. If you try the Patreon even for just 1 month, I'm incredibly confident that you're gonna fall in love with it. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do as often as we do it, but let's get you back to the video. A mystery opponent for Stephanie who turns out to be Liv Morgan. That would actually be so sick. I would love for Liv Morgan to make this crazy out of nowhere shock return. I don't think it's in the books. Again, I have to go back to, are we being worked? Is this not a work? We were told like 8 months. Maybe she comes back much sooner than that and we were all being tricked just to set up for this moment. It's possible. If there is a mystery opponent for Stephanie Vaquer, I don't think that there's a better option than Liv Morgan. I think that that would be an absolutely brilliant choice. If that is the case, Stephanie's not winning this. For sure, Liv Morgan would win this. It would make sense considering Liv Morgan was vying for the Women's World Championship going into Evolution before her shoulder injury. So it would just sort of be picking back up exactly where she left off anyway. And that kind of goes back to the, you don't really need a heck of a lot of buildup. You can just sort of build off the fact that Liv Morgan was already going for the World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer has been waiting for this championship opportunity for a long time. Boom, put them together. Week build, good enough. Day of build. If you just want to reveal it like the moment that the match is about to start, hell yeah, that works too. Raquel will be the woman chosen to face Stephanie Vaquer for the title and win. La Más Ruda is finally becoming a world champion. I also could very much see this as a possibility considering she has been on a roll. She's been on a little bit of a winning streak. I think like creatively, it makes sense. Heel versus face. And believe it or not, if they were to go up against each other, I see a world where Raquel could probably win that match. There's so many options that it could be. And so far, the ones that have been listed off here, I love Raquel probably the most because it's the most realistic and the one that makes the most sense at the moment. Seth Rollins wins the Fatal 4-Way and retains the World Heavyweight Championship with the help of a new Vision member, possibly Tony D'Angelo. Here we go. Okay, another member of the Vision being fantasy booked here. I think that Tony D'Angelo is the one that makes the most sense at the moment. It's possible that you don't watch NXT and the name Tony D'Angelo doesn't really mean anything to you, but Tony D'Angelo spent a long time in NXT and they just wrote him off of NXT in a very peculiar way where a shadowy figure kind of came up to him to have a conversation with him, and then it cut to black and we don't know really what's happened with Tony D. It's been several weeks since we've seen him, and the second that that happened, people immediately started fantasy booking the possibility of him joining Seth Rollins in the Vision because a lot of people already had Tony D pegged as one of the top contenders to be the third member, and now that he's been written off of NXT, it makes sense for him to maybe be revealed as the fourth. LA Knight turns heel and joins the Vision as the fourth member. No. I say that because I think LA Knight is too perfect of a guy to be forever fighting with the Vision. I also see it being an inevitability for the Vision to find its fourth member and go to War Games, and War Games baby faces will likely involve LA Knight. So right now it just doesn't really make any sense at all whatsoever for LA Knight to join up with Seth Rollins. There's a real chance Logan Paul could beat John Cena, honestly. I can see WWE trying to tell a story of how John Cena isn't as strong as a babyface compared to how he won every match as a heel, with the end goal of being Cena beating Lesnar to prove that he is still as strong as a babyface. So this whole narrative of John Cena isn't good enough is actually the story that I thought they were going to tell when they initially announced the retirement tour. And I thought it started with him losing at the Royal Rumble, being eliminated there at the very end, that he just wasn't good enough to pull out big match John when it mattered anymore. Now, I do see a world where he could potentially lose to Logan Paul, but I certainly don't think it's because he's not good enough or he's going to lose clean here to Logan Paul. If anything, it's probably due to some shenanigans, external forces, maybe a little guy named Brock Lesnar, maybe flying all the way to Paris to cost John Cena. That's possible. I don't know how fans would react to John Cena cleanly losing to Logan Paul, though. I feel like Man, the internet would absolutely go ape shit at this, which maybe is the reaction that they want out of this result so that Logan Paul can carry more heat in all of these other feuds that he has post John Cena. I would still say that John Cena is the favorite to win this match, but like I wouldn't be like 100% sure that he's going to win this. I think that there is a world out there where Logan Paul could walk out as the victor, because the whole, potentially Brock Lesnar appearing, that could be a post-match thing after John Cena wins. That makes sense as well, right? Bronson Reed beats Roman Reigns and steals another pair of shoes. The reign of the tribal thief continues. Recognize him. I, believe it or not, believe that Bronson Reed should win this match. Bronson Reed is getting over, all right? And a loss here could damage that. This tribal thief thing, this Shula Fala thing has finally given Bronson Reed identity within a group where he really did not stand out. He just sort of felt like second fiddle to Braun Breaker, and of course second fiddle to both Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. But now he finally has a thing. He has a gimmick. He has some way to stand out amongst this group of already amazing standouts. And for him to lose this early on into the Shula Fala tribal thief thing, I think would be putting water on the fire way before we need to. Roman Reigns could come back at any time and get that win back. And Roman Reigns is about to take time off to go film Street Fighter. And the guy that's going to be there on the next episode of Monday Night Raw isn't Roman, it's Bronson Reed. And if you want me to take the vision seriously going into War Games, you gotta have Bronson Reed win here. And I need him to go into War Games with his shoes. LA Knight wins the world title. I mean, listen, it's just not the right time. And that feels like it's the story of LA Knight every single time that he gets a world championship opportunity. The last time was in the midst of Roman Reigns' legendary reign, and we all knew that of course he wasn't going to lose this title at a random Saudi show or at a random Royal Rumble, that he was going to lose at WrestleMania. So it sort of felt like, yes, even though LA Knight was in the main event, even though he was going after the world championship, that he was never really a proper contender. And unfortunately, I feel like we're in the same boat here. It's just not the right time. It's not the right time for Seth Rollins to lose this championship. And yeah, sure, cool, LA Knight's in the main event scene, but it's not the right time for him to win the championship, sadly. My bold prediction is that the PLE won't try to be bold. WWE always tries to go for crazy things, but this time they're gonna play it safe. Nothing insane happens, and it'll be the most predictable show of 2025. Okay, I think it could go both ways. I think you could be right. I think that it could be a very cookie cutter, formulaic PLE where nothing really moves the needle, or they go absolutely batshit crazy. Let me explain both sides of the argument. It's possible that they go really safe because this is the last show on Peacock before they go to ESPN, and they want to save all of the crazy stuff for when they go to ESPN. That's possible. However, maybe they want to go with one last hoorah on Peacock and do a bunch of crazy things to make you pay attention and want to see what happens next, so that you follow WWE over to ESPN. That's possible too. I'm actually leaning towards them playing it safe and saving the crazy stuff for WrestlePalooza, who isn't just its first time on ESPN, but it's also competing directly against AEW's second biggest show of the year, All Out. So I think they're going to save a lot of crazy stuff for WrestlePalooza. And if that's the case, I think that they're going to play it safe in Paris, so I'm actually agreeing with you here. Drew winning the WWE Championship versus Cody. Listen, all right, I think the chances are low, but I'm telling you, there's a chance. And the reason why I'm telling you there's a chance is because of other factors that aren't there, which is The Rock. The last time that Cody Rhodes became WWE champion, every single feud that he had after winning the WWE championship felt like filler because we were just waiting for the return of The Rock. We thought that there was going to be a big payoff there, a championship match, some way, shape, or form, and we all convinced ourselves that Cody Rhodes was never going to lose that championship until they play out the story with The Rock. And that ended up being kind of right, because he didn't lose it until the whole The Raw, they give me your soul, WrestleMania 41, all that garbage. This time around, there is no Rock. There's no ever-looming presence. We have championship reigns that are lasting 5 minutes, a month, 54 days, 4 months. We're back to the era of championship reigns not needing to be a year long for them to be successful. So, because of this, I'm telling you, it's not impossible that Drew McIntyre might actually win the WWE championship because of that, but also also the fact that we know that Cody Rhodes is going to be taking some time off to film Street Fighter, and I don't know, maybe you don't want your WWE champion not being on screen. Then again, they are used to having part-timers as champions, so I guess it would be kind of normal for them. I think that the likelihood of this happening is very low, but again, I want to reiterate, there's a chance. Brock Lesnar comes out and attacks John Cena to get Logan Paul the win. So I am expecting Brock Lesnar, mostly because it's heavily implied that we're going to be getting John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. We did get word that Brock Lesnar is confirmed for a couple of SmackDowns before WrestlePalooza, but I think if you really want to make people go from Peacock to ESPN, I think you got to have Brock Lesnar on this show. Now, you're saying it's to attack Cena to get Logan Paul the win. I think it probably happens post-match. I just don't think that you could take John Cena as a serious contender to Brock Lesnar if it's off the back of a Logan Paul loss. AJ Styles will defeat Dominic Mysterio for the IC Championship with the help of Hijo del Vikingo. See, this makes sense. For this to make sense and for this to happen, we need to actually get AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio on the card, which as of the making of this video is not. And that to me right now is a problem, and it's making me nervous that we're not going to have AJ Styles or the Intercontinental Championship on the card. All right, we need to fix this immediately. But the reason why this makes sense is because it gives AJ Styles the big moment in front of the crowd that's going to be singing Phenomena, la la la. It's going to be a good moment. But it also allows for WWE to continue to build to another big match, another big moment, which is the Worlds Collide match between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. So, you know what? I'm kind of down for this booking. I think I said Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Dominic Mysterio and Hijo del Vikingo. You know what I meant. My prediction is that the PLE viewership will tank after Clash, with WWE moving over to ESPN, going from a streaming service that costs $8 a month to one that costs $30 is insane. I and many other people will be sailing the 7 seas starting next month, if you know what I mean. Or you could go to Surfshark and use code SantiYT to get 4 months extra on your Surfshark subscription. I'm just saying. Either way, not sponsored, but I'm just telling. So this kind of goes back to what we were saying. Are they gonna have an amazing show with crazy swerves to get you to want to go to watch WrestlePalooza on ESPN? Or are they gonna play it safe so that their first show on ESPN is batshit crazy insane? I honestly think it could go either way. But I think you're right. I do think that to a degree, that is a big barrier to watch shows. Like $30 a month, man, in today's economy, that's a tough ask out of a lot of people. I think for sure at the very minimum, you're going to lose a younger audience that was already begging for their parents' credit card for just $8. Now imagine them having to beg for their parents' credit card for $30 a month. That's a big ask. So I do think there is going to be a viewership drop. Now you have to remember that the PLEs will be free for people that already have ESPN on their cable subscriptions. So maybe that leads to more households having access to the PLE. I don't know how that's going to work. Either way, what I'm trying to say is that $30 is a significantly bigger barrier of entry compared to $8. All right, folks, thank you so much for submitting in your fan predictions. I'll see you guys in the next one. My predictions will be up in a few days. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.